Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The Health Ministry's protocols governing cruise ships kicked in this morning after a mega liner docked in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. It was discovered that a crew member has a high fever. Officials told our news center that the case does not meet the required standard for the COVID-19 coronavirus. But out of an abundance of caution, that person has been isolated and passengers quarantined. None of the passengers will be allowed to disembark in Ocho Rios or any other Jamaican port. The ship arrived in Jamaica from Miami today and is scheduled to sail to the Cayman Islands. It can hold up to 5,386 passengers and a crew of over 1,500 persons. In the meantime, COVID-19 is taking a toll on the world economy as it is dangerous to health and by extension your wallet. We have details from the CNN.
The coronavirus quickly spreading outside of China. Italy hit especially hard. Confirmed cases rocketing up from 3 to more than 200 within the last week.
The virus may settle down into an endemic pattern of transmission, into a seasonal pattern of transmission, or could accelerate into a full-blown global pandemic.
There are more than 50 confirmed cases in the U.S., but health officials say that number will probably rise.
Given the high-risk environment that the Diamond Princess cruise ship passengers came from, I would not be surprised if we have additional cases.
The coronavirus is not just a potential health threat, there's also a financial factor. On Monday, the Dow dropped more than 1,000 points. Stock markets worldwide also took a plunge.
I think they're reacting to most the fact that this means a lot of other economies are going to be under strain.
And although the coronavirus is playing havoc with a growing number of companies, a rebound is likely before the end of the year.
It almost certainly, God willing, depending on the epidemiology, is going to be finite. It is going to be something that 6 months from now, 9 months from now, will in an economic sense be over and we'll be seeing some recovery.
In other news, a desperate search is underway for a missing 8-year-old girl from Epsom, St. Mary. It's believed the girl was washed away by water by flood rains on Monday, and Giovanni Dennis has details.
It's the worst kind of tears. A mother wailing over her missing child. Kimora White, 8 years old, disappeared sometime yesterday afternoon during rainfall. The circumstances leading up to when she disappeared are sketchy. But what is known is that she wasn't feeling well at school on Monday.
Teacher telling me that her neck, she was crying for her neck, she lay down all day, she developed a fever. The teacher gave her an umbrella to come home. And I don't see her from then.
So she called emergency responders and started searching herself. It's unclear exactly how she went missing, but so far, one clue.
We found our shoes last night, but in the river, close by, and don't find our bag, we don't find our slippers. I don't find anything else for her, so I'm just hoping.
The search ended sometime close to midnight and resumed early this morning. Scores of residents came out to help. Tommy is a diver.
We start from which part the incident happened and search come down, we don't really find him yet, so we have a back water at the mouth, open it, so we can make the water run down a little more. See if we can make another dive again.
Dr. Norman Dunn is the Member of Parliament.
Just really hope for the best, and not what we. I mean, sometimes there's a silver lining in everything. Let us hope there's a silver lining somewhere.
In the meantime, Kimora's mom is dissatisfied with the emergency responders so far.
Last night when the police and the firefighters came, the firefighters left and said that they're looking for a community search 5:30 this morning. Up to 20 minutes to 6 o'clock this morning, I had to call the station. And they said that they are waiting on the response from the JDF and the other response. So I took my flashlight and I began search. Upon searching, probably about 6:30 or some about there, the police and the firefighter came and out by the sea, they're telling me that the JDF should be reached here by 9 o'clock. And all now I haven't seen them.
Giovanni Dennis, TVJ News.
The opposition PNP believes it can do a better job in fixing crime in Jamaica. Speaking recently at a workers' meeting in East Central St. Andrew, PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips said the number of violent crimes is evidence that the country is in a crisis. We have details in this report.
According to the People's National Party, up to February 15 this year, murders were up by 6% when compared to the same period in 2019. This despite several states of emergency declared in almost half the country. While speaking on Sunday at a workers' meeting at Justiceira Park in St. Andrew, President of the party Dr. Peter Phillips stressed that the security measure is not working. Dr. Phillips argued that even in spaces where security checkpoints are present, it is evident that the SOEs are ineffective.
Youths in South St. Andrew say police at the checkpoint and soldier and gonna back to gate down. And them can't move, police can't move unless they get instruction to move. It is a waste of the energies of the men and women in the police force. It is blind eye policing.
But why has the PNP continued to support the measure?
The fact of the matter, we are not government. And the government has no plan to put in place other than state of emergency.
Dr. Phillips believes that the PNP could do a better job at fixing Jamaica's crime problem if it were in power.
If we were the government, we would know what to do. We have long said that modern policing is intelligence-led policing. You need to build up your intelligence gathering. You need to deploy your policemen and women to the hot spots of violence in the country. You need to go and reach out to the violent criminals that have come to your attention and build the cases against them.
Giovanni Dennis, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. We have more stories right after these messages. Welcome back, and we're continuing the news. President of the Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association, JGRA, Gregory Chong, has highlighted some of the challenges faced by the members in implementing safety standards at gas stations. That includes resistance from some motorists. He says indiscipline contributes significantly to gas stations being overrun by taxis and buses, which use the properties as pick-up and drop-off points. The JGRA president says some people also converge freely at gas stations despite the safety issues which arise. Mr. Chung explains that it's a major safety hazard for gas stations. Speaking yesterday on Radio Jamaica's Beyond the Headlines, he gave further details of the challenges.
It is said, and sometimes it's complied with, and sometimes it's met with resistance. And, you know, I personally and dealers personally cannot be on their forecourt all day. So while they may go out there and talk to a few persons, most of the enforcement is left up to staff. What they do is that they use a gas station instead of going into a bus park or into a line or some kind of formal system. They use a gas station to pick up passengers, drop off passengers as an easier, quicker method of doing their business.
Convicted Jamaican-born sniper Boyd Malvo has agreed to drop his request for resentencing that was pending before the U.S. Supreme Court. The decision was made after Virginia Governor Ralph Northam signed legislation yesterday that creates the possibility of parole for juvenile offenders serving sentences of 20 years to life. Malvo received 4 life sentences without parole for 3 Virginia slayings committed with John Allen Muhammad during the regional sniper rampage of October 2002. Malvo was 17 at the time. He received 6 additional life sentences, also without possibility of parole, for 6 killings in Maryland during the same 3-week period in 2002. The bill signed by Governor Northam would only affect Malvo's Virginia sentences. Over 300 persons living in Montego Bay, St. James and neighboring communities attended an expungement fair in the parish on Friday. It was to help clear criminal records or provide information to those seeking clarifications on applications. More in this report.
Mobile Justice Units and 4 lawyers were on location to assist with the application process. Persons seeking to remove their criminal records spoke with our news team about some of the challenges they have faced.
I try to get jobs, but just because of this police record, it's like you have a thing hanging over you. And this police record is like a nightmare, you know what I mean? Without you having a clean one, you can't get a job.
So when I applied for my road license, I had to go through this and that, and this and that. I had was to write a letter to the Transport Authority to say, you know what I mean, because of so and 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 so, and that's why I failed to get a new police record or a clean police record. So, in a sense, yes. And I would like the expunction so that I can get a clean police record in the future going forward.
Attorney General Marlene Malahou Fort revealed who are eligible to have their records expunged.
Here we're focusing on those who have been sentenced either to non-custodial sentences or to sentences for less than 5 years, who have served their time and where a period of 5 to 10 years have elapsed, 3 to 10 in some cases, and who, more importantly, are on a better path. They have acknowledged the wrong they have done and they have turned their lives around, but are still haunted by the criminal record and need a fresh chance.
Those who have applied will be assessed and processed once found to be eligible. They will then be informed on how to move forward. Offenses including unlawful wounding, assault occasioning bodily harm, malicious destruction of property, possession of and dealing in marijuana are eligible for expungement. Offenses such as export of drugs are not eligible. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
And in sports, last Thursday, TVJ Sports aired a story about the continued decline in the standard of cricket at the high school level. And in the follow-up, we hear from some stakeholders about how the decline has affected the local cricketing landscape. And we have more from TVJ's Renardo Brown.
In 2017, 50 schools participated in the Issa Rural Area Grace Headley Cup cricket competition. In 2019, 8 fewer schools took part in the tournament. It's a trend that has stakeholders concerned, including Trelawney Cricket Association President Chester Anderson, as only 1 school from that parish currently participates in the Headley Cup.
On my board, we have mandated people to go into these schools and try to get them to be more interested and put some more of the funding that they have towards sports into cricket.
Vice President of the Jamaica Cricket Association, Dr. Donovan Bennett, is also concerned about the drop in the standard of high school cricket, but says it's no fault of the JCA.
I don't think you should look at the JCA for a solution, because our real mandate is to promote the game at the senior level and, of course, to be involved at the junior level, but at the representational level, at the level of these age group teams playing for Jamaica.
Dr. Bennett also provided this explanation.
It's all about money, right? Cricket is an expensive game, number one. And even though it's an expensive game at that level, it still does not generate any income for the schools, right? So the schools will gravitate towards sports that generate income, i.e. track and field and football. And this is what is happening. Most schools are putting all their resources into track and field and football for obvious reasons. 1, the popularity, and 2, the fact that they can make money out of the sport themselves.
In the meantime, at least 1 local club is worried about its own survival.
Every club and possible some parish team has been suffering from the weakness of the schoolboy cricket just now. I've been thinking to find out what the best way to get it strengthened. And one of the way, you must get more schools playing and further from that, from the high school playing, we have to start playing hardball cricket at the primary school level.
MacLeod says clubs have to be proactive.
Well, one of the things that we do at St. Catherine CC, we don't wait on them to leave the high school. We try to get them while they're at school so we can assist. Because, you know, some schools don't have strong coaches. Some school is the people them that teaches that coaches. Some of them, yes, they can coach, but time is a factor, and you have to have these players doing what they're doing more than 1 day or 2 days a week. You have to, at the club level, would be a little bit stronger than the school level. So when they play at the school and feel that they are there, when they come to the club level, they realize that they still have a lot of work to do. So it's best to have them playing at the club level along with the school.
In part 3 on Tuesday, we hear the concern from GC Foster College lecturer Gibbs Williams. Renata Brown for TVJ Sports.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm, and to join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.